In this video, we're going to be using Sterling Sharp Dressed Man, the Double Duck Satin Edge Straight Razor, and we're going to make a few announcements. Stay tuned. Hey there, folks, and welcome back for another video. I'm your host, CDB. Welcome. And if it's your first time here, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing below. Today, we have a very busy video for you. We're going to be using Sterling Sharp Dressed Man, and quite frankly, I was inspired to do this after watching my interview with Sterling back when I published it, what day was it? Wednesday evening. I said, I got to use some Sterling. I mean, I'm just so inspired by how they do things. You can't help but to love Sterling. Going to be using the Double Duck Satin Edge Straight Razor. And we're going to be using a few pre-shaves today. Now, this is in fun because the Chief, Shaving with the Chief, and I understand Jack had a conversation about pre-shaves, and they were, you know, I don't think they really realize any appreciation from pre-shaves. In other words, they don't think they make that much difference. We're starting off with the Mersol Emulsion, or Motion, however you want to say that. We'll use it as our pre-shave. And we'll slap that on, and we'll see how that works. The only thing I don't like about putting on things like that is that my hands get very slick. So that's no good. And then we're going to go to our pre-shave, which is going to be the Razor Rock. Let's add some moisture first. Glen Helly Mister here. The Razor Rock pre-shave cube. That will be our pre-shave. So the Mersol was our pre-shave, and the Razor Rock cube here is our pre-shave. There we go with that. And we'll set that aside. We'll remist. And now we're going to apply our pre-shave, which is the PAA cube. And we're having fun today. My feeling on pre-shaves, oils, I don't like them. I don't like oil on my face. But pre-shave, glycerin-based pre-shave soaps and things like that, I do like. And some people feel that it removes oils from your skin and helps the whiskers remain more stiff. I mean, the verdict is out on that for me. I can't really validate that. But today, we got our pre-shave, a pre-shave. I don't know. I'm tongue-twisted. Anyway, we got a lot of pre-shave going today. Okay, let's get our misting on. Okay, the Sharp Dressed Man while we're misting and lathering. This is the Green Irish Tweed Scent. It is fantastic. Great, right at mid-level at about 5 on the scent strength. Terrific price on this, $13.60 for 5.8 ounces. An incredible $2.34 on our cost chart, which is just exceptional value. The ingredients, I'll put them on the screen there for you. Nice ingredients. I like the shea butter, lanolin, and coconut milk in these soaps. And I have added some Sterling Frost Drops today to get a little menthol cooling. We'll show you that right here. And if you have not seen the spotlight I did with Sterling, I recommend that you check that out. Maybe you're driving or whatever and have an hour. Believe me, you're going to enjoy that. Almost everyone has. And it just really makes me respect the way they do business. I normally don't spray the brush a lot, but since I have so much pre-shave on there, I'm going to work that in just a little bit, although it's not necessary. I think the one thing I agree with the Chief and Jack on is pre-shaves, you know, probably not necessary for most people, but if you enjoy it, do it, you know. That's really what it comes down to. Whether they make an appreciable difference in terms of the actual shave mechanics, I cannot say. But I like using the glycerin-based cubes because they're very inexpensive. And at worst, they're going to boost your lather, you know, a little bit. So they're not going to harm you. The oils, some people make an argument that they can be detrimental. That's really up to you to decide. If you think the oils work great for you, go on using them, you know, and if you don't. But anyway, back on the subject of the interview, go watch the interview, and I think you're going to really appreciate how Sterling does business. And so let's get going with our shave today. I don't know what number we're on here. Using this Double Duck Satin Edge. I cannot recall which shave we're on. We do have about 24 hours growth here, which is standard for me. I am an everyday shaver. Not only because I love shaving, but because generally, for work, although, I'm working remotely like right now, people don't want you generally in a professional job running around with 2 or 3, 4 days of growth looking, rough. And so I've always been a daily shaver. And certainly once I discovered these great products, it inspired me to, well, it didn't inspire me because I was already daily shaving, but it just made me enjoy the shaves is that's really what I was looking for there. I want to make another announcement. When I came back in January and sort of reevaluated and started using brands I hadn't been using again, I said at that time that I wanted to just evaluate products on the basis of the products themselves and not take anything else into consideration. And I think generally that's a fine perspective to have and a fine way to go about, making videos. But recently, I was having a discussion with So Sharp David, and he said something that really hit home with me yesterday, which is, I'm not a slave to anyone's talent. Meaning, just because something is incredible doesn't mean I have to use it where I need it. And that there is certain conduct that sort of disqualifies him from buying certain products. And I thought, that's interesting. And then I thought about the interview I did with Rod and Mandy of Sterling. And there are folks that are just so outstanding in this community in terms of artisans and vendors and people who you really want to see succeed. And I thought about that long and hard. I'm like, you know what? When I'm giving some of these people who maybe aren't good stewards of the community my money, it's money that I could have went to Sterling or Katie's Bubbles or A&E or whomever, you pick one. And I think I'm at the point now where I think it's necessary, given that we have so much competition, to reevaluate thinking about community standing. And so I think what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to consider things that happened in the past. But if you are an artisan and a vendor from this point forward, and you're operating in bad faith, you are running down other artisans publicly, you are just generally being mean-spirited about customers. Now, sometimes vendors and artisans are going to have disagreements with customers, and you can't make every customer happy. I get that. But if you're an artisan from this point forward, and I don't know today's date, but it's August something, and it's become known to me that you're running down other businesses in a mean-spirited way, not a disagreement about technique or how to do something, but you're being mean-spirited, and it's clear that your intentions aren't uplifting, I'm not going to use your product. And in the past, I haven't talked about why I wasn't using products, but I think now, not only am I not going to use your product, but we're going to discuss it on Real Talk, which is our Instagram show with So Sharp David, and we will just lay it out there for the community. And then the community can decide whether they want to do business with you or not. So I'm just putting that out there because I want all the artisans to know that there are plenty of choices for us to make in this hobby. And previously, I came back with the attitude that let's not think anything else except for the product. But the truth is, this is a competitive business now. We have many, many choices. And why should I do business with people who are operating in a mean-spirited way when there are Sterlings out there? And I can just buy more soap from Sterling, or a plethora of other artisans who are operating in good faith and being good stewards of the community. To me, that just makes sense. And so there is the change in the way I'm going to do things. Now, I'm not considering what's happened in the past. So folks, please don't send me a screenshot of something that happened last week because it's effective today. Because I wanted to give notice that, look, you know, if you're out there attacking, you're an artisan yourself, you're running down other people's products, you're, you know, not disagreements, not debate, but you're operating in bad faith, and then I'm not going to use you, and I'm going to bring that to light, both on my channel and in Real Talk. Because there are too many Sterlings out there to be messing around with people who aren't good folks. And that's just my opinion. I don't fault anyone else who chooses not to take that into consideration, but honestly, So Sharp David, when he said, I'm not a slave to anyone's talent, and he said, you know, I don't care if they make things that are great, if they're generally being bad to other artisans and the customers, I'm not going to use them because there's too many good people to buy from. And honestly, I agree. And so I just wanted to get that out there, and I hope people will consider operating in the same fashion. Now, I agree. It's a lot easier to take none of that into consideration and just use the products and enjoy them. And that's what I've been doing. But I think also we have a responsibility to the community to try to make it positive. And positive doesn't mean there isn't dissent or disagreement. Positive just means you're not, you know, you're not really supporting bad faith actors. That doesn't mean people can't make mistakes. I've forgiven many people, and I've needed forgiveness myself. And I've made a ton of mistakes. But I've had to pay for them too. So just know that, you know, we want, in terms of where I'm going to spend my money and what products I'm going to highlight on my channel, it's going to be folks who I have a good experience with. Additionally, if you become aware of bad faith actors who are vendors or artisans, shoot it to me, cdb at IAMCDB.com, because I don't want to be giving my money to folks who are out there publicly attacking other artisans. And so I hope that makes sense to you. I know some folks will not agree with that approach, but honestly, there are too many Sterlings to be messing around with these people. And so that's my feeling, and we will make it known, and we will talk about it on Real Talk, because that's the purpose of the show, to talk about what goes on in the community. And if you don't want us having that discussion, don't be running down other artisans and being mean-spirited, and or running down customers, you know, that don't deserve it. All right. So I haven't talked much about the soap today or Sterling. Folks, I got to tell you, this is great stuff. It still hits the spot all these years later. I was so heartened after watching that interview, and I thought there's some great artisans in this community, and people who just do their work, you know. And it just, when I watched, I was like, I got to use some Sterling. And I apologize for the quality. I know it wasn't the greatest, but the quality of the conversation, in my opinion, was outstanding. We learned a lot. I learned a lot. I had no idea that me putting them on my worst products list back in 2014 or whenever that was part of the impetus for them changing. And then subsequently, when I came back and used it and loved it, they said they enjoyed great success after that. So that was very humbling for me. And I never intended to hurt Sterling. Like, I always call it like I see it. But I must say, the way they handled that, like true professionals. They didn't get into a public fight with me. They just went to work. They knew there was a problem. They said, hey, if he says so, you know, and we've heard other people say so, we got to get to work. And they did. And the product today is just fantastic. And even better, the reason why they haven't gotten into this reformulation game is because they just never wanted to raise prices, and they want to remain an affordable product that everybody, that's within the reach of all of us. And I think that's excellent, to remain committed to exceptional value. There are a lot of artisans who have went the way of the reformulation model. And you know how I feel about reformulations. You do get some improvement, but it's incremental. It's, you know, I always say, if you already had the last base, there's very little compelling reason to buy the new base if you have the exact same soap. Buy another scent. I think that's completely fair. But to rebuy the old scents, it's never mattered that much to me. All right. Excellent shave today. This sterling just still hits the spot. And the triple pre-shave is working great. Oh, man. Just having fun today. And I hope you are too. By the way, speaking of fun, Lather and Blade Facebook group. It's actually called Lather and Blade Reviews. I'm going to see if I can talk to Peter and Mel about just making it Lather and Blade, because that would make cool name. But anyway, if you're not in there, come on in. I extend my invitation to you. If you are someone who operates in good faith, you enjoy shaving, you enjoy busting chops and having fun, just a fun group. So come on in and enjoy. I do remind you, not everything is family friendly, so keep that in mind. If adult language and, you know, busting chops bothers you, it might not be for you, but otherwise, I think you'll enjoy it. Nothing is really required of you other than enjoying yourself. No hashtags. We're not trying to sell you things. We're not trying to sell you anything other than love of this hobby. So if that sounds good to you, join us. And also, the Stallion and Pope are going to be live. Today is Friday. Tomorrow, Saturday, 8 p.m. You won't see it anywhere else but the Lather and Blade Facebook group. So come on in and enjoy that. Okay, let me rinse. We'll get into the post. Stay tuned. And all right, back with our Lancaster towel. Very, very nice. Very, very nice indeed. Off cam. Once again, we used our PAA alum with the dry dock, which is still working quite well. Let's go ahead and apply our magic made by witches, the Thayers. I want to thank everybody for joining me. If you're still here, thank you especially. I really appreciate you. It means a lot that you stay for the entire video. I do appreciate it. We're going to finish off today with new bottle, Sterling Sharp Dressed Man. I've been through one already, maybe two. I can't remember, maybe two. This is one of my favorite Sterling products of all time. It is the one that turned me around on Sterling after they fixed that issue. That was the first scent I bought, and it's terrific. Stands up today. Sterling still holding up today. It's just great stuff. I highly recommend you go watch my interview with Sterling. I think you'll appreciate it. As always, I want to thank you for joining us. I'm your host, CDB, reminding you, it's your shave, do it your way, and God bless.